So, okay. So do you feel like you missed out on like the normal childhood? Are you happy that you got to do what you know, like live your dream young and then grow up and then kind of go back to that?
It's funny. I'm glad that I had both. I'm glad that I've already had a high and a low. I'm glad that I missed a lot of things in school, but I still had a social life. Because I think sometimes in school you can become, schools are kind of tough. People are very catty and very, kids can be very mean sometimes. So, and you can also fall prey to different forms of peer pressure, and you have too much time on your hands and too many things you can get into. Whereas I was working, I was learning how to, run a meeting and how to do branding and how to do this and how to do this and how to talk to people and just, gaining a lot of traveling all over the world. So there was definitely an upside. Downside, of course, was that you miss you do miss a good portion of your childhood,
Sure.
of the kind of innocence, but granted, there's probably not that much innocence in this world. There's too much. Because I have a nice steady balance now,
Cool.
I go home, I
Just chill out.
I can just chill out.
Be normal.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
But I'm glad I've had both.
Yeah.
It must be really tough to be very, very successful when you're, 11, 12 years old and to only see that side of the world. I'm sure it can get very, very confusing.
Good deal.
So at least now I know who I am and who I want to be as an artist.
So, okay, so on the artistry side of things, how do you feel as if your first record is compared to the new record, and will people be able to relate, and how will it be different?
Okay, what was the first question?
How is the first record going to compare to the new record? Like, obviously, there's a huge gap.
Yeah, there's a huge gap. I've grown up, but how they're the same is that they're both pop. They're both pop music, and it's going to fit into the top 40 vein. This one, I'm writing all the material. It's coming from my heart, and of course, it's therefore something that someone my age would probably right. I'm also really honest. If you haven't noticed by my song, Chris Possessive, I just kind of write down how I feel about a situation, and then it's funny because situations will change. Like all of a sudden, one person you wrote about, you're like, oh, you're such a tool, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, he's really a great guy now, You're like, well, sorry, the song's totally a hit, so I'm gonna be singing it every day,
So, Crazy Possessive, like you said, is a single. Obviously, you wrote it about a real life situation. Do those people, or does that person that you wrote about, do they know that that's about them?
Yes.
What are their thoughts? Obviously not good.
You know what's funny?
Are they like flattered? Are you guys good now?
Yeah, we're good. I mean, I love her. There's been issues, and some things that we still. I mean, friendships, just like any relationships,
Sure.
are work. Sometimes you have to work through your differences and your understanding of things because people have different boundaries and different ways of dealing with things. So it's all about teamwork. I've been gone, so I haven't really been able to effectively deal with anything. But I am going to be going home soon, so hopefully everything will be fine. But I did play it for her. She listened to it. She goes, "Well, it's repetitive." I was like, "Did you get the point?"
Nice.
So we kind of played it very bad.
Okay, I just got a couple more questions. Obviously, you did some big tours when you were a kid, O-Town, Backstreet Boys, Jessica Simpson, lots of big names. What's your dream tour now?
My own.
Nice.
Yeah. Screw opening. I mean, I would totally love to open for people, but I want my own experience. I want people to come and enjoy the whole experience. Kaci Battaglia.
Cool. And last question, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
It's funny, I've always planned my whole life. I mean, since I was like 8 years old, I've written down what I want to do, where I want to be, what I want to accomplish, type of person I want to be with, everything. And, for once in my life, instead of thinking really far out, I want to think about right now and maximizing how I can be effective and how I can be great right now and actually surprise